Hello, friends, and welcome to A Little Room for Healing. This week is a little different than past episodes. Today, I have Robin Kidder back, and we are going to turn the tables around, and she is going to hold space for me and do what she does, and I am going to dig into what's coming up inside of myself, and I'm gonna get a little healing, and that is thrilling. And I'm also nervous, but we'll get into check-ins in a minute. So, Robin, thanks for coming and doing this.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'm psyched.
Oh my God, me too. I'm also nervous. So the setup might be a little different this time. It's possible that we may do what usually happens and talk and take a break and do some work off camera and then talk again. But it's also possible that we might just keep going with what's coming up. So be with us in what's happening. And let's actually, before I pass it over to you, let's do check-ins, just to be with where we are right now. And how about you go first?
Okay, so in this moment, I'm noticing, I feel a little bit of my face in the windshield. I'm like a little bit out there in front. And that is my system. Yeah, it's been a little bit revved up. So I'm feeling like, yeah, it's taking a little bit of effort to settle it back down. And actually just putting my hand right here on my chest, it feels very soothing, helpful, like as a grounding and as a little bit of a settling. Yeah, so I'm feeling quite stirred. There's a lot of sort of chaos, but it's starting to organize a little bit, and yeah, I'm feeling a little bit of the chaos over here, and my chaos in here, and our chaos is coming together, and but I also feel like a really sweet, like, I love this intentional sort of overlap. We come into the space and we're experimenting together, and I'm feeling the camaraderie of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm thankful. Partner.
Great check-in. Great, you did that great.
Thank you.
It's so funny. I am like, that leads into my check-in. I am even more nervous today than when I'm holding space. So let me go in and really do a look around and see what's coming up. I am not grounded right now and feeling nervous about opening up in front of the cameras and the audio, and not so much, and here's the interesting part about it, it's not so much I'm okay with being vulnerable. The thing that's making me nervous is the specific things that I'm working on right now. I'm already like getting emotional. The specific things I'm working on right now are very they feel very, very sensitive. And in part of it, I have a fear of people's perception of me going into these parts that may come up today. And that makes me nervous. And I just need to say it out loud to be in that and to have it out in the space so that I can go in there and actually do it. So that's there. And I've also been waiting for this for a while. We've talked about doing this for a few weeks, and it's been a few weeks since we actually recorded the last episode that we did together. So I've been waiting for this and excited about it. So there's an excitement in to be able to do this work on the podcast. So that's there too. It's a hodgepodge of feelings in there. Okay. I also want to say that I'm feeling called to call in Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael. Archangel Michael for protection of the space, and Archangel Raphael to assist in the healing. I'm just feeling them enter. That feels good. Oh, okay. Thank you. And now I'm going to pass it back to Robin and let her go to work.
Let's take a big breath. Can I respond to something that you
Please, yeah,
you shared?
Definitely.
I just want to underscore that anything, you always have the option to opt out of any thread that we're on.
Right.
And that the first piece that I want to bring in is this is slow. This is like slow work. It's actually like slowing down to be with the slowest part. It's like slowing down all of the parts that are fast. That's why when I sat down and I'm like, my face is in the windshield, there's another part of me that's like in the back seat that's like kind of freaked out. And so I'm like, okay, let's come back. That's an invitation. And maybe that's actually like what all of the work is in service to.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can I just slow down enough to be with and responding to the slowest part of me?
That really aligns with something that came up for me with my therapist the other day, of this feeling that I was in. And I was in this space where I was like, I feel like I'm on the verge of breaking through this feeling. But I have such an attachment to this feeling. I have such an attachment to what's going on. And he's like, there's even an attachment to the outcome. So like looking forward also, there's an attachment to looking forward and being through it, when what really needs to happen is be in it. And that's it. And so when you talk about slowing down, like that really takes me into a space of, okay, that's the slow part right there. Is that, what is that? And feel that, just be in that. Okay. Or whatever is going to come up today.
Yeah, so why not be in that? That's another way of looking at it too.
Why not be in that?
Do you
specific
mind
thing?
if while we are doing this, if I invite you to do things physically with your body or physically with your expression, just in like if I ask you to pause for a moment and take a breath, or like to feel into a certain aspect, because we're going to work with this central channel.
Okay.
And sort of just an awareness of root to crown, and then like extending up and rooting down. And there's a way where when we start to go into whenever we start to talk about anything that's below the surface, like our physical patterns will start to show up and be a part of that conversation, and they actually inform. There's a way where our physical body is, and the patterns that we're playing out in our physical body actually informs the stories.
Yeah. I'm here for the work, so that is okay with me.
So when we interrupt the pattern in the body, we can actually, and if we do that if the mind knows that that's happening, then there's not so much resistance to it. And so that's why I'm bringing it to you and asking you like this, if that's okay.
Yeah, it is okay.
Okay. All right. So sit your butt back behind you a little bit more if you can. See if it's possible. And if not, we could even pop you up a little bit on a pillow. Can I give you a pillow?
My belt is on funny.
If the belt is constricting.
I'm going to take the belt off.
Take it off. I don't remember this pillow from last time, I think. I want this to be behind your back.
Okay.
Like lower back. Yeah.
Sitting up like this is not my most comfortable position.
Well, what does it
probably says
what does it feel like? Even just doing this.
Well, initially this feels good. It's when my body starts to fight it that it doesn't feel good.
Is your body fighting it now?
It's starting to. I get an ache in my lower back. And my head wants to go back like this.
Mm-hmm. Does it bring up does it feel, it feels to me like a little anger.
That would be very in line with the most present emotion in my body this past month. Which is anger.
Are you open to getting kind of weird in this session a little bit?
100%. Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to invite you sometimes to use your voice in a way that might make certain parts of your mind feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
Because it's like, well, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And not rational and not normal. But I'll do it with you too. Okay. So that also links right into, why am I asking you to like sit forward a little bit? And it's so that you can really get down here and get underneath the anger, actually, with your consciousness.
Okay.
Because you can feel it right now, right? Like you can feel your root a little bit more. Is that right?
That is, like right off the bat, touches on a space that I have had the most difficult relationship with. Me and my root, even if like I could say yes to that, but like by millimeters of feeling it more because I have such a disattachment, like so unattached to my root.
Yeah. Let's work on making it a little more comfortable. Like literally, like why make this hard on yourself? Can you sit on that pillow?
Yeah.
Does that give you a little bit more?
Connection to my root?
Yeah, and just like a little bit more ease in it.
It does. It makes it harder to sit up more straight though. Like I definitely want to like go like this.
Put this underneath. Put that on top of the pillow that you just sat on.
This way.
No, even underneath.
Oh, yeah.
So that you're even sitting higher. We're just going to try this for a second. We're not going to hold this the whole time. This is just a little test to see if you can tap a little bit more into... Yes. And I know it's asking you not to lean back. It's asking you to find that center. There's also no... I want to talk to that part that was saying that it's afraid about some of the things that might come out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that it really wants to keep in? I just wanted to say, like, it's fine. It's also fine if it...
Right. It is that there's also that other part of me that's like, be really, like, go there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go there. I really want to go there.
Can you
too.
come together with those two parts? Where do you feel the first one when you tap into the part that's like afraid about what might come out?
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel into that? Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, the part. I can talk about the part.
Okay.
It's very angry. It's like rageful. And I've been on this, it's been coming out like the last month and a half, and it's on a mission to not to like prove that that this part is not a safe guy. And that scares me because the fear around bringing that part out in front of other people is that I base what I do off being a safe person. But this guy doesn't want to be a safe guy in a certain situation, not a safe guy in like a space holding situation, which I can be both. I can both be a safe person in a space holding situation and have this part be angry and not want to be safe in the other situation. Sweating.
Mm-hmm.
He is tired of being contained and feels like he has been pushed down and beat up and I don't know about beat up, but pushed down and just like packed in this tiny sardine can. And so it's like this part is like just bubbling with anger and rage, and it's like not allowed to show it.
Squeeze.
So it's just, and like the can is now bulging because it's so compact in there, and it's really uncomfortable, and I'm scared to let it out because I'm like really nervous about the anger.
Okay. Sit tall for a moment. Drop down through the crown of your head, through your skull, through your throat. Drop down through your heart space, down behind your navel, down past your perineum, and then travel down through the crust of the earth, through all the layers, down, 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 drops into the core. So this is your rooting. And from this space, it's actually, he's safe to express here. Does that part, is it a he?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can he find a little bit more space? Can we crack the sardine can open? Is that possible? Is it too soon?
I've been like attending this all like for the last few weeks.
Well, let's just see what happens. Like maybe it's not time to do that yet. Maybe it's just time to be there and be with it. And he's in this tight, contained space. And he's flipping out. But he's squeezed in there. And you're here with him. We're slowing down to be with him. We're rooted into the ground. Take a good breath. You're just right there with him. So I'm feeling something in my left hip lower, but where do you feel this? Where is he hanging out?
Um,
Oh, and I don't know as an answer. It's fine.
No, it's my whole right side. But at the moment, very vibrantly right here, and my arm, and there's this. I don't actually. That's not being triggered right now, so and I don't even need to bring that up right now. And then yeah, basically the whole right side, but most vibrantly here in my arm right now.
Let's check in with him.
I am feeling a little like a distant nausea.
Is this you, Joel, or him?
Tough to say.
Okay.
And yeah, he's still present. He doesn't feel as charged at the moment. But it's kind of this, it's basically the way my whole right side has been feeling the last month and a half, is just like this low vibrational hum just going on. So that's there.
I would like to do work on your right side on the table.
Okay.
And give it some dedicated space, and then come back here and see if we can tap back into this.
Cool.
If that's where it goes.
Okay. Let's do it. We're gonna move to the table and do some work, and we'll be back. We are back from the session in the table and had a little bit of a technical problem in between coming back from the table and starting this, but it didn't take away too much from the way I'm feeling, which is pretty light in the head at the moment. That's nice. You ended with what were you doing down here? What is that spot called? Do you know?
No.
Oh, it was good though.
I think I told you last time I'm unlearning everything, right?
You're unlearning
like
everything?
I studied Chinese medicine.
Oh, right.
And like cranial
yeah.
sacral and like I'm literally like unlearning all of the.
Great.
Yeah. I could tell you I was holding what drew me there to your head
Yeah.
was just well, we were working with this part that was very, very present for me, and I think for you. And I was just listening to him. It was like he was telling me where to go, and he was like, you literally said the words, but also he kept saying like head, hair, neck. So that was, to close with, was like some really subtle work where I was holding your head and just feeling the rhythm of the cranial sacral rhythm, and that felt like it felt like a deep connection to him.
Can you say more about the deep connection?
You know, below the ideas and the conceptual, and even below like the sort of gross manifestations in the body of like tension and things like that. It's just like the rhythm of this fluid that feels like the essence. And I mean, he was just so there that I was like, oh, this is the connection with him. It's like just, and I don't know if this is like what people in craniosacral, like who are official craniosacral therapists, feel, but I feel like my rhythm connects with the rhythm of the person that I'm feeling. I feel like we sync, and then we become like this limnoscate, like hooked into each other.
That's
it's
cool.
Like a really deep connection.
I like that you were saying it gets past all the I can't remember exactly what the words you just said, but past, can you say it again? What was it? Past all the stories?
Below the conceptual.
Yeah. Because that is something that I was trying to start to talk about on the table, but thought it'd be better to talk about here, more useful for what we were doing and for me being able to express it, is that I'm going through, I have these, one is I have a trauma that involves my urethra that has been a large, not even just large, like huge part of my identity and what I have identified myself with. And then I have religious trauma that I'm also finding that I have a large connection or attachment to the identity of. And now even this anger that I'm feeling, I'm like feeling really attached to this anger. And I'm in this place where I can see that I have this really strong attachment to these things, and that the attachment isn't benefiting me. It's holding me back from moving through these things, and from being in a place where it's making me, the attachment is giving me this sense that I'm special, and I'm having a hard time letting go of being special because I have these wounds. And it's really hard to let go of it, and because it's this specialness is not doing anything good for me. It's just holding me down and holding me back, and it's preventing me from having certain relationships, or at least it's like, I don't know, not necessarily preventing, but it's like a clog in the wheel of having certain relationships, and not only with others but with myself. And I can see it, like I'm aware of this attachment, this like egoic attachment, and it's so uncomfortable, and it's in my body, and I can feel the tension in my body between not having that attachment and having the attachment, and it's just clashing. So when you say like you got underneath all that, the conceptualization, like the ideas it has, or like the stories that it's attached to, like that's
where I'm trying to get in my day-to-day conscious life is I really, 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 and like even the want, even this desire to let go of this is an attachment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to be in because I don't, it's uncomfortable now to be the urethra guy. And I know that a lot of you may not know what I'm talking about when I have this urethra wounding, but it was really, it's been huge in my life. It was the first 23 years of my life, and it was huge. And maybe someday I'll share the story more in detail. It doesn't feel like it wants to come out today. I don't know how to let go of being the urethra guy.
Mm-hmm.
It wants to go, though.
I think you just said it.
How? What? What do you mean?
You said, well, this is what came through when you were like, I don't think today is the day, but maybe there's a time. When you said that, it was like I saw the whole thing. I saw you telling the story, and the medicine of being witnessed in it, and then telling the story. It's here. It's come up to work with. It's here to work with, and it's like, can you go into that? And I'm not saying do it now, but like I just saw the potential of that, and that if there's a way to be held, and there is, like you've now in your life you have the capacity to be held and actually go in and be able to be with the somatic experience of those memories, and not like be obliterated by them.
Right. I hear
Potentially
what you're saying, and the challenging part about that is I have spent the last more than 3 years, but definitely the last 3 years intensely with all things urethra and religious trauma. And I've told the story so many times since I was 23. And telling the story is another attachment of, because the way I say it, like if I could say it in a way that isn't, look what I went through, and more of a
felt. To me, it's like this. I can, even when you're doing this to me, whenever I see this, I think like this is head separated from body. This is like stories.
Am I doing that when I'm talking?
Yeah, when you were just talking about it, you're like this, and it's this.
Okay.
It's also a incredibly vulnerable, exposed, powerless position. This is like fucking, you got me, right here. So there's a
that's interesting.
Like if you can tell this, and I'm not saying like tell the story like this, but like truly, like if you said it, you're like, I've told the story a million times. It's like bah, 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 bah. Yeah, the recording is going, and you're listening to it, and it's like you're feeding the egoic version of it. But if you tell the story from a felt, like where you're actually, and I don't know what the circumstance of that would be, but
I hear more clearly what you're saying now, because there is even in,
it's not being penetrated. The pocket that or pockets with the beliefs wrapped and woven into them that are in your body are not being penetrated when you're talking about it in the way that you've been talking about it.
Right.
So the way to, and I totally know what you're saying. There's like, and you're like, fuck, I've spent so much energy talking about this. I'm done. Why is it still here?
I've also gotten into the feeling about in the work I've done, like especially with plant medicine, like I've gotten into the somatics of it. But what you're suggesting is the bridge hasn't been made
here between the head and the body of it.
And maybe
Which makes
it's
sense to
too
me.
much. Maybe it's too much to use that one as more of the training to connect to these things more. Like this connecting to this, speaking from this connected, rooted place. Like we dropped into the center of the earth, you know, the first thing we did. Like if that's your practice, then you're going to have a different experience of talking. It's going to come from a different location. And it will actually, like the reason we do that is so that we can be on this plumb line and be connected with our expression, with however we're expressing. And it's literal. It's like literally the voice is connected to the root. And when it is, it's so awesome because it's literal and it's metaphorical and it's in life. But like when I'm connected to my root and I can fucking feel it, and it's sexual energy, it's exactly what you were talking about on the table. Like it is turn on. It feels like turn on. And when I'm connected to that turn on and I'm speaking from that, I am working all through my body. Like the vibrations of my voice are coming through. I'm getting chills talking about it, but this is clearing my trauma that is in here, and we all have it.
The moment on the table that felt the most powerful to me was when you were doing the work, and it was a lot of physical stuff. There was a lot of somatic stuff. You were in there and you were shaking my body. You were moving like my shoulder back and forward, and then like caressing my neck and all the way down my arm and my side. And I realized that the angry part was like not angry when that was happening, because that's what he wanted. That's what he wants. He wants that kind of expression and touch. And you said, well, let's give him what he wants. And you were actually like, I want to give him what he wants, and I want to be here. I'm here for that. And you were like, then touched me more, and you cuddled on me more, and that's when I started crying. And I had this really nice release of a cry, because that's part of the anger, is that I don't know that in my life. I actually do not know that in my life, of somebody being like, yeah, I want to do that for you. I'm never touched. And part of it is because I'm scared of touch. I want it desperately, and I'm also scared of it. Yeah. Yeah, this is something
You deserve you're worthy of touch. And we as in Joel, like big Joel, like you can get that. And you can talk to the part that feels afraid of it and be like, nope, this is what actually we need right now. We're going to take care of these needs, and it's okay. It's safe. It's contained. It's going to look like this.
Mm-hmm.
Not to take you, I mean, you were in this emotional space.
Really hard for me to do. It's hard for me to even say that you deserve that. Like, for you to say it to me, like, it's like...
Yeah. What we just did there was like a lot of things. It was like, oh, first there's that piece. Like,
yeah.
Like even...
You said that to me, and I was like,
not true.
My body's like, I don't believe you. And don't say that to me. And...
Get out.
Don't say that to me, because I know that when you leave here, I'm going to be alone again, and not be, and I won't get touched. And then I don't know how to ask for it, and I don't know how to be with it, because sensuality, the feelings of sensuality are so scary to me, because I've so linked them with sexuality that I start to get flustered, because I'm this inside I'm a little teenage boy who's scared of sex and scared of intimacy.
So that kind of interpersonal sensuality that comes with energy and with actual just touch, even if it's platonic touch, I spin out inside thinking, I didn't do it on the table actually with you, which was great because I know that we had a really set container. And I know that's also part of the work is to set really, really specific containers for it. And that has helped in the past. It gets so in there that like even to be like, okay, hold on, I need to set a container is like hard to get out and to do. Oh, it's really tangled up in there. You feel that?
I'm over here breathing. I'm like, yep, go on. Should stir this pot a little bit.
This is the thing. This is the stuff that has come from the urethra wounding and the religious wounding, and so like those things, two forces, and just really like they got together and like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
I just had this vision. Do you want it?
Yeah.
This need and this is so primary. Everything is woven into it.
Yeah, that's true.
Literally, like your work. Like there's a. It's all been crafted with this tension and need and belief that I can't have that need. Playing tug of war. There's this way where like you have all of these people in your life that you could touch, but there's like this glass. It's like but I can't let myself receive it. There's a closure.
Yeah. And that is why my intention for the new year is expansion. And it's expansion in all realms. It's an expansion of how my ability to hold and be with sensuality, all senses. And I'm going to practice all year long. I'm just going to practice with each sense. And I'm going to like really open that up. And it's expansion of the work that I'm doing and expansion of connection with people. So the word is just expansion. To break through that glass wall and break out of that sardine can and to not be held back by these things that I've clung to, these stories that I've clung to, these what I was like, basically my body is taken on as rules of the system, rules of the road. This is the way it has to be, and you just have to deal with it and keep these things in. And they want to move through my system freely, and I want them to move through my system freely. But I feel like I can't do it on my own. So I need help.
When you said expansion, do you want to know what I thought? Reception. It's like it's not a building block, but it's a like opening to be able to that moment on the table where you received it and you cried. There was a lot of closure and then like a little bit of opening and closure and opening. Like we even talked about it with like I would make these sort of gross movements, trying to like stir things a little bit and then have like these more subtle just caresses and just connection. Basically just connection, not trying to do anything, just being connected. And those were the moments of where there was opening. And then sometimes there would be closure too. There would be like a no. Like maybe it's that belief. Like I think there's this, it's very subtle work. And I think it could be very, very simple.
The subtle work is the challenge for me. I'm really good in big experiences, really intense experience. I'm like, I can really be in those because that's part of what my urethra situation was, is big experiences of pain and pleasure mixed together. So I can really, really be with these explosive, like, oh my God, this is huge, it's so uncomfortable. This is like one of the most uncomfortable things, but I can be in that really easily. Mm-hmm. It's the subtleties of what's going on in my system and the reception of that that I get really scared in. I get really uncomfortable in. And where the most emotion is. So, subtle and easy don't really go together for me. Subtle and difficult too, but it may be easy, and I just have to get past the fact that I think it's difficult. It feels difficult in my body. It's like really intense in my body. The subtle is.
Did that feel really intense in your body? There's a lot of fog in this. There's
part of it did.
So much fog.
There was a lot of physical discomfort that happened. There's a lot of muscle tension that when you push on, it's like shoots sharp pain throughout my body. That was uncomfortable. But
what else did you feel?
The gentle caresses felt really, really sweet and actually made my skin go all across my whole body. Like these like feelings of, it's like, oh my God, and that felt really good. That was subtle. That felt more subtle.
So that wasn't difficult to receive.
No.
That you could receive.
I did receive that. What do you mean it's cloudy in there? I heard that.
Foggy.
Foggy, what do you mean that?
The words are like obfuscating this like actual vulnerable truth that is very here. I feel it, and it's coming in, but then there's like this magic that happens where you're like, like smoke bomb.
Can you say the truth again?
The truth is that there's this very sensitive, vulnerable part that is here that was receiving on the table, and it's actually not that hard to give that part what it needs. But there's this story that it is really hard, and it's, oh God, all these things are stopping me from being able to do it. Mm-hmm. It's like, really?
Mm-hmm. I got tons of excuses for that.
It wasn't hard. Like, it was just like, I was like, I want to do it. We connected with that part, and then...
You wanted to do it.
Uh-huh. Well, what are you saying when you say that?
I'm saying I don't have the opportunity to be in a space with someone who actually wants to do that is not often.
Okay.
That's true.
What's the next? There's even a obfuscation of like, you can pay someone, you can ask for it, you can invite. You can. Yeah. You just have to ask. It came up. You just have to ask for it. And that's part. Is this part of it? Yeah. Is this like, fuck? I don't want to ask for it. I just want somebody to show up and give it to me.
Yeah, there is. There's this part, because this is the part of me. I uncovered these two things, these two parts of me. This is when
the anger was really starting to be like, okay, it's time for me to come out. It was the weekend of Thanksgiving weekend. I uncovered these two parts of me, and one part of me was surrounding my urethra wound in particular, my urethra trauma in particular. And one part was this deep loneliness. Like, I've never wailed like that before ever, how deep that I touched on the loneliness. And then after I moved that energy, right underneath it was this entitlement to to receive because of how special I am that I had this trauma. And that's the part that I'm like trying to detach from. And it's really difficult because I'm so attached to how it makes me special and that I deserve someone to just want to do this for me because I had this trauma. And to ask for it is like tramples on all of this part's beliefs of like, I should not have to ask for this. Look what I went through already. Someone should just want to give this to me.
Somebody does want to give it to you.
It doesn't make sense to me. that just
Joel, big Joel, grown
down.
Joel, like developed Joel, like your fully functioning human man, grown man wants to give this to this part. And I know that sounds a little bit, yeah.
Sounds a little bit what?
I was going to say it sounds cliche or something, but maybe it doesn't. It's true. But when you're in this perspective of when you're looking through the lens of the underdeveloped part, it's like this isn't fair. But when you're looking through the lens of grown man Joel,
higher self
who's
Joel?
here to who's here to take care of your needs. It's like, okay, I'm gonna fucking hire someone. I'm gonna use my resources to hire someone to come in here and fucking cuddle me and feed this little part that, take care of this part that didn't get fed and didn't get nourished, and I'm gonna do that. And then the rest of it is like, kind of, don't worry about it. Like there's this way where that's the fog. Like all the other, it's not that there's not things to listen to, but there's a way where you're using that as an excuse.
This is what's coming
and a
up.
distraction.
When I think of what you just said,
yeah,
and getting somebody to asking for someone to come in who would come in and want to do it because I asked, and that's what they love to do, and they're willing to be there in that with me. The block that comes up in doing that is the attachment to the fucking trauma. Saying, then that part of me that's saying, you don't really want this to go away. You don't really want to leave this because this is your identity, and what happens when that's gone?
Yeah. Who do you become if you're not special and the sort of broken one, the hurt one? Then you become the dominator. This is what happens. People pendulate. They're like, oh well, I'm either the victim or I'm the perpetrator. And you might not have followed that thread yet. Like, what does happen when this is gone? Like, what is the fear of what will happen if you're no longer special in this way and you're not the person that carries around this story?
It's all unknown. I've had this difficulty in walking.
You can follow that thread. Follow that thread. This is an important one. Can you?
No. I can't.
I
get
felt
stuck.
I felt the block.
I was about to talk about the block. I was about to talk about the block.
No, we're not going to go there.
I'm really good at talking about blocks.
Oh my god. You're a magician.
Well,
right now I'm talking to your mind. I'm talking to your mind.
The protector of this part is a magician. guess that is my mind at this moment.
Yeah, so drop down to that down past the genitals, but like you connect into them and then you root it.
It's so hard. That whole area is so hard.
This is it's a practice. We could do a year of practice with how to. I mean, it's information at this point.
I can't even, like, it's just, I literally just go blank.
When you try to bring your awareness down
When I
into the root.
I can go all the way to here, and then that the partial sacral I get into,
Yeah.
and then once I like even attempt to look at the root.
Let's do that next session.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm into trying. I try to say with conviction. There's a really strong lack of belief that it's possible in my system to do. I acknowledge that. Is that the thread you're talking about of getting from victim to what's on the other side?
The thing, when we have a fear, when we're the thing you described about holding on to an identity, yeah, an identity is like this. It's an egoic attachment. It's something that we're feeding energy to. Instead of feeding it down into here and feeling all the feelings of like, oh, actually, I'm not special. Like, what does that feel like? It's feeding into this identity. So from that place of like, this is this valuable thing. It's like, well, fuck, if I don't have that, what is it going to feed? Oh no, it's going to feed this other thing, which is the bad guy. Because this is the good guy. It's going to feed the bad guy. Fuck, then I'm going to be the bad guy. Then I'll be the oppressor. But no, actually, like, I mean, it could do that. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I don't think that's actually how it works. How it works is like we just keep practicing dropping down. We keep feeling more. We keep, oh, I can't feel here. What happens if I go feel there? In a contained way, in a practice way, in a safe, within range way. And then, oh, maybe I don't need to tell that. Maybe it doesn't feel true anymore to tell the story about the urethra. Or maybe when I tell it, I can feel more of myself, and I can feel and release some of the trapped energy that I've been carrying around since the impact of it.
So uncomfortable to think about not needing to tell that story. Like the connection, the attachment to it is so strong that it's like a free fall. If like that's gone, it's like, oh, it really doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
I believe you when you said that. Can you root into this? Like, just for a second, humor me. Can you sit up? I know you say you can't feel into that too much, but like wiggle your ass a little bit. Stick your navel out more, yeah. Then can you tap into, I don't need that story anymore. Drop the energy down from your face.
It's weird because tears wanted to come out.
Yeah, that's good. That's welcome. Yep. It's okay. I don't need the story about the urethra anymore. Let that out. It's not serving. It's not even true anymore. Drop it back down. I don't need it. Can you bring yourself to say those words that I don't need the story about my urethra anymore?
To say it and mean it.
Drop down. From the depth. Tapping into the part. There is a part that knows that that's true. And we're speaking from that part. And it's deep and it's connected. Yeah. That can all come out. Just keep dropping down. There's a scream in there. Shout. It's stuck. It's right below your collar. Yeah. Drop down. The story doesn't belong to you. It's not my story. Can you say it?
No. Not yet.
Tap into that part. Drop down. Feel the connection to the center of the earth. Right down your center channel. There's an erectness in it. This is not my story.
I only want to say it if I can mean it.
There is a part of you that does mean that, though. You can talk to the parts that don't yet feel it. This is the holder of all of the parts. You're the grown-up in the room.
I see all of you parts who are not ready to let go of this story. I want you all to know that it is not my story anymore. And the urethra story is not needed. And I will be with you and patient in however long it takes for all of you parts to let go of that story as well and meet me here.
It happened.
The story happened? It just happened? Wait, it happened?
Just listen. Stay in. Drop down. It happened.
Are you saying you want me to say
I
that?
want you to say exactly the words that I'm saying and let go of your mind a little bit. You're in your grown man. And he is holding these parts and they feel it. And they can cry. And tears can come through you. You could feel them. You're holding them.
What just went through you?
That I got totally kicked out. You're good. But I don't want to end on that. I really want to end with you feeling him. I want, let's get back, and then we'll close it because I want to close it there, but I don't want to close it on the Joker.
The trickster.
The trickster. Thank you. Yeah. So find him, the holder. He's rooted. I've got you.
Are you able to feel when I'm in the holder?
We'll see. Yeah. Drop down again. And just listen, just repeat the words when I say them. And when I say drop down, I mean the thoughts that are in your head, you're going to imagine them just dropping down the center channel. If they pop back up into your mind, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just we're practicing dropping it down into the body and letting the words turn back into energy that is just working us. Yeah. So drop into him. I've got you.
I've got you.
There's an erectness in it. There's a trustworthy, solid truth that you're connecting to. I'll take care of you.
I'll take care of you.
All of your feelings are welcome.
All of your feelings are welcome.
Take a breath here. Okay, good work.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was not easy.
There's a lot of pressure. I wanna leave you here and give you space to like digest that without all of this, because that was real. It's real, and like let's protect it a little bit.
Okay. Well, I'd like to close out the podcast.
Do you want to? Can we pause it and then come back and close it out, or do you want to close it out right now?
Oh.
Either one of those could work.
I want to close it out right now.
Okay.
And I want to thank you for being with me in this and guiding and helping point the way. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for your willingness to go on the journey.
It was a really cool journey to go on with you. I am a little out of it at the moment.
Yeah. There was a release, and when that happens, space opens up, and it's kind of like things want to come in. So actually, what I would have you do is can we do this? Because I know we just closed out, but maybe this is a good way to close with a little dropping down through the crown, some white light. So the space has opened up, and let's just fill it with light. It drops down through the crown, through this soft spot, lights up the inside of your mind space, your skull, throat. Light casts through your heart space. Through the abdomen, behind the navel, through the pelvic bowl. Out the perineum. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Robin. And to all of you,
thank you for witnessing, and I invite you to make a little room for healing in your lives. And I look forward to seeing you next time.